The man on my chest crushed the air out of my lungs while my phone alarm screamed from the kitchen, and for one confused second I thought I was still dreaming until cold metal pressed into my ribs and a calm voice told me not to move. The bedroom light snapped on and revealed two silhouettes in dark jackets, one pinning me to the mattress while the other stood near the door with a pistol held low but steady, as if this were a routine stop instead of the moment my life split into a before and an after. They did not shout or hurry, which somehow made the situation feel far worse, because panic would have meant mistakes and mistakes would have meant openings, and neither of them was giving me any. They hauled me upright, lifted my phone from the nightstand, and walked me down the stairwell instead of using the elevator, keeping their hands light on my shoulders while the gun stayed close enough to guide every step I took. Outside, rain blurred the street lights into orange streaks while a black sedan waited at the curb with its engine running, and we slid into traffic without headlights as if the city had decided not to notice us. €1 re not being kidnapped €1 the man beside me said after a few minutes, his tone flat and bored. €1 re being repositioned. €1. I asked why, because people always ask that even when the answer is going to make things worse. €1 cause tonight a crime is going to happen €1 he replied, €1 and €1 re going to be very close to it. €1. They dropped me in the underground garage beneath an office tower and drove away without another word, leaving me alone with a vibrating phone that now belonged to them more than it belonged to me. Messages began arriving in careful, clipped instructions that pushed me through stairwells, empty cubicles, printers humming in the dark, and restrooms that smelled of disinfectant and stale air, forcing me to wash my hands and then grip faucets, drag my fingers along counters, pause beneath cameras, and linger where it felt wrong to linger. I realized what they were doing halfway through the restroom, when the command to touch a door handle made my stomach knot and the pieces finally slid into place, because they were not guiding me through the building so much as seasoning it with me. They sent me down to the lobby and out onto the sidewalk, where rain misted my jacket while I filmed a dark building across the street, then crouched at a closed newsstand and pressed both palms to cold steel while headlights smeared across wet asphalt. When they ordered me back inside, the air had changed, because guards were speaking into radios and people slowed as if the room itself had flinched. A metallic crash echoed from deeper in the tower, followed by a shout that cut through the low murmur of conversation, and a man staggered into view clutching his arm while dark liquid soaked into his sleeve and dotted the polished floor. Alarms ripped through the space. The crowd surged. My phone told me to run when everyone else ran, and I did, spilling through doors with strangers and bursting into rain while sirens began to wail somewhere beyond the glass. They made me drop the phone near a trash can before vanishing again, and I did not slow down until my lungs burned and my legs threatened to fold under me. 10 minutes later my face stared back at me from a television in a convenience store, grainy but unmistakable, paired with a scrolling headline that used words like suspect and attack with uncomfortable confidence. A new device buzzed in my pocket. €1 on TV. They said I needed an alibi. They told me to go home. I slipped back into my building through a service entrance and sat on my couch while anchors replayed footage of me in elevators, restrooms, and security desks, talking about fingerprints and digital trails with the kind of excitement reserved for clean cases. Then they told me to pack. I stared at the backpack on my bedroom floor and tried to decide what a man brings when his name is already being rehearsed by strangers on television, finally shoving clothes, cash, and my passport inside because the order did not matter anymore. Police cars idled on the corner by the time I cracked my bedroom window and climbed onto the fire escape, freezing halfway down when voices drifted up from below and someone flicked a lighter that flared bright for half a second before dying again. They guided me into an alley and into the back of an SUV driven by the same man who had pinned me to my mattress, who now greeted me like we were co-workers wrapping up a late shift. We drove through warehouse districts that smelled like oil and wet cardboard, and he walked me inside a cavernous building where forklifts slept in neat rows and another man waited beside a laptop that was already logged into my company email. They ordered me to flag a missing shipment as clerical error, explaining that the cleaner the paperwork looked, the cleaner the case against me would be when investigators finally finished connecting the dots. I asked what the shipment was. The older man only smiled. I slipped routine language into the audit trail while my hands shook just enough to annoy me, because I could finally see what they were doing, and it was not just about tonight. They were writing a pattern. They dropped me 3 blocks from a bus terminal and told me to buy a ticket under my own name, then sit where cameras could see me while police cruisers idled across the street like patient animals. When an alert flashed announcing that a second guard had died from his injuries, my stomach dropped hard enough to make replacement block €1 short version. The thought settled in like ice, because I understood that even if I obeyed and survived the night, my name would wake up welded to a headline that would not fade. My phone buzzed. "We need one more thing." "What?" "The bus is a test. Don't €T board." I stayed in my seat while officers moved outside the terminal and slow loops and cameras blinked from the ceiling, suddenly aware that every hesitation and glance was being logged into a narrative I didn't €T control. "Leave through the west doors. No taxis." They walked me into quieter streets and stopped me beside a laundromat humming behind fogged glass. "Wait." Across the road, a sedan idled. "Walk to it." The older man stepped out before I reached the curb, calm as ever, and opened the back door like this was a scheduled meeting instead of the end of my normal life. They drove into warehouse districts and led me through a side entrance into a building that smelled of oil and dust, where a woman waited beside a laptop and a portable printer. €1 re-giving you continuity €, she said, sliding paperwork toward me. Transit records. ATM withdrawals. Surveillance stills. Boarding passes. Months of movement I had never made. At these go live tonight, €, she added. People don't T trust panic. They trust patterns. €. They took my fingerprints again, made me sign blank forms, and uploaded files under accounts I already owned. Why me, I asked. €, re-quiet, €, she said. Equiet men disappear neatly. €. The older man watched me. You leave the city, €, he added. Publicly. Sloppily. Under your own name. €. And if I don't T. €. Then we keep building. €. They dropped me near an unmarked bus stop on the industrial edge of town. The door folded open. I hesitated. The idea settled in slowly, heavy and suffocating, because I finally understood that even if I obeyed every instruction and survived the night, I would wake up the next morning with my name welded to a headline that would not let go. My phone buzzed again. "We need one more thing." The sentence made my hands tighten around the strap of my backpack while I stared at police cruisers idling across the street from the terminal and tried to imagine what kind of request could possibly make things worse than they already were. "What?" A pause stretched long enough that I started to feel it in my chest. "The bus is a test. Don't T get on." My stomach lurched. "Then why buy the ticket?" "Because cameras record intention." The logic was cruel and perfect, and I suddenly saw the shape of the story they were telling about me, one where panic made a man run and running made him careless. The message stream continued. "Leave the terminal through the west doors. Walk 3 blocks. No taxis." They guided me into quieter streets where rain pooled and broken pavement and storefront lights flickered, then stopped me beside a closed laundromat whose windows were fogged from dryers humming somewhere inside. "Wait here." I stood under the awning and watched my breath bloom in the cold air while the City sirens faded into a distant, constant hum that sounded like something breathing in its sleep. Minutes dragged. A man walked past with headphones in and did not look at me. A woman unlocked the laundromat door and disappeared inside. My phone buzzed again. Turn around. Across the street, a sedan idled with its lights off. My pulse climbed. Another message arrived. Walk toward it. My legs resisted before logic caught up and forced them forward, because every instinct I had was screaming that this was the part where people vanished for real. The Drivera door opened when I was 10 feet away. The older man stepped out and smiled faintly, as if we were meeting for coffee instead of concluding a long experiment. €1 owe you €1 redoing wealth €1 he said. €1 what happens if I stop €1 I asked. €1 old and the story finishes without you €1 he replied. He opened the back door. I climbed in. The city thinned as we drove, replaced by darker streets and empty lots where weeds pushed through cracked asphalt and floodlights hummed over loading docks. They stopped near a shuttered distribution center and led me inside through a side entrance that smelled like dust and machine oil. A single office light glowed at the far end of the warehouse. Inside, a woman waited beside a stack of phones and a portable printer, her hair pulled back and her expression clinical in a way that made my skin crawl. €1 we €1 re going to give you something €1 she said. €1 what €1? €1 a future €1. She slid a folder toward me. Inside were printed transit records, ATM receipts, surveillance stills, and boarding passes, all bearing my name and dates that stretched back months. €1 owe you €1 ve been busy €1 she added. I stared. €1 I havina euro t left the city in 3 years €1. €1 owe you have now €1 she replied. She tapped one of the pages. €1 if these get uploaded tonight, attached to accounts you already own, which means anyone digging later will see a man who started moving long before he panicked €1. The older man leaned against the wall. €1 patterns matter more than moments €1. My throat tightened. €1 owe you €1 rewriting my life €1. €1 owe we €1 re-completing it €1 he said. They ordered me to sign 2 blank forms and place my thumb on an ink pad, explaining that sometimes paper still travels faster than data when you know where to insert it. While I did, the woman typed quickly, her screen reflecting lines of code in database portals that should not have been open in one place. €1 owe why me €1 I asked again. This time she answered. €1 owe you €1 re-boring €1. She said it kindly. €1 we no priors. Stable job. No loud friends. No enemies who would make this messy €1. The older man nodded. €1 Oakleyan vessels last longer €1. The words settled in my chest. €1 what happens now €1. He considered. €1 you walk away €1. €1 from what €1. €1 from us €1 he said. €1 from your name. From the version of you that existed yesterday €1. My phone buzzed again. A final message from the unknown number. Done. The woman powered down her laptop. €1 we don't €1 t go back to your apartment €1 she added. €1 we don't €1 t call anyone you knew before tonight. Don't €1 t log into anything that belonged to you €1. €1 and if I do €1. The older man smiled. €1 then the story keeps going €1. They drove me to the edge of the industrial district and let me out beside a bus stop that did not appear on any map, or a handwritten sign taped to the pole listed destinations I had never heard of. A bus hissed to a stop a minute later. The door opened. I hesitated, staring at the